that don't mean I gotta like
So
it.
we're saving even less people now.
Correct.
I don't know that we've even gotten confirmation that the Ark Gurren can even hold the 300,000 people that would have been left anyways.
Well, I think that was the amount it could hold before we put on the animals and stuff.
Also, actually legged cars. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Justin, and we are back with episode 20 of Gurren Lagann. How about you go and remind us of the heinous shit you've been up to since then?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just running a good government. No, we now know a time frame, which is 3 weeks, plan to evacuate. We have a ship that Simon would have never found that can help get the people of Kamina City into space during the time of impact. We have also discovered a way to stop the explosions from falling and killing everybody. No thanks to Simon, who we sent out for one last mission where he kind of did it, but then left an enemy threat on the wind. So naturally, he has been he has been sentenced to prison, where eventually we're gonna kill him.
Well, he's been sentenced to death, where he's
Yeah.
waiting for judgment. I mean, he's waiting for it to be carried out in prison.
Correct.
Because where else, right?
And his best friend in the world, Viral, is gonna be his bunkmate.
I mean, I feel like I'd be remiss not to point out the fact that the reason that the counter got to 1 million was because Rossiu brought everybody to the surface.
Hey, I didn't. Rossiu didn't start that process though.
He
Just
did
saying.
actually. He did. He started forcing people to the surface who didn't want to come to the surface. Simon and by extension
I do not
Kamina.
remember that.
Simon and Kamina only brought people to the surface who wanted to come to the surface. Rossiu was forcing people to the surface, and this is pertinent to the episode because
It's
Viral
true.
is in jail, and that's what Viral was stopping Rossiu from doing, or trying to anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, Rossiu has a big old hand in this for all of your Simone wasn't gonna do this sort of thing.
I'm not saying Rossiu is innocent. I'm just saying that like he's better than Simon.
Well, thank God he's the only judge of the court right now, because Rossiu is probably the one saying he's innocent.
Yeah, no, he gets the struggle, He's a man of the people. He's a man of the people.
Yeah, which he made himself when he made Simon take the fall for everything that's happened.
Exactly.
Especially the bits that he was guilty of.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
No.
Expectations, things you want to see, etc.
Simon's gonna have a rough time. I think he's gonna get real beaten up, real sad.
Well, you have to imagine who you think is in prison.
Exactly.
No, I mean that was actually a question. Who do you think is in prison?
I don't know. I don't have context for who would be there.
Well, I mean, I have to feel like this is a Batman scenario, right? What happens if Bruce Wayne gets put in jail?
It very much could be a Batman situation.
A lot of people have to be people he put in jail.
True. This is Simon's Arkham prison.
Well, I hope not, because that would be full of crazy people. Arkham itself being influenced by Cthulhu.
True.
All right. Well, I said go ahead and hop on into it.
Let's do it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
But yeah, I don't know. There's also the element that, God, what's the Transformers name again?
The big one?
Yes, the big one.
Metroplex.
Metroplex. Doesn't have people living inside of him, does he?
Yep,
Yep, I'm right, or yep, he doesn't.
he does.
I just realized I gave you a double negative there. Yep, he doesn't, or yep, I'm right that he doesn't.
He absolutely does.
So he literally is just SDF-1 Macross.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, he is. He's a city that transforms with people inside of him. Technically, he's also fighting an alien threat because the Transformers are aliens. So he's SDF-1 Macross.
Sure. The alien threat thing is kind of like, you can say that anything that came after a certain point is copying everything before.
Yes. Yes, you can. Because, in fact, that's what's happening. Everything is copying everything that came before, and we're just mix-matching it in new and different ways. Because wholly, on the whole, humanity is uncreative.
Well, there's no original stories left to tell at this point.
This is the
Well, I mean,
tale
there
of a man
are.
who continues
It
to
depends on how
search
many
for his
drugs you
own
want to take
path,
first.
even as fate
It-
betrays him.
So this is actually the
2
perfect
weeks
time to go into
remain
this.
till the moon slams into the
Well,
Earth's
one would
surface
argue
to quell the
maybe
panic.
after the show would be the perfect time to go
Rossio
into
charges
this.
of war crimes against Zemo.
Fair enough.
As we're
Zemo
quickly running out of
is
time
sentenced to death.
until something
After
new
his
happens
final
on
mission
screen.
in Gurren Lagann, what does he
Yeah.
find
And this sounds more like an in-depth
Prison
debate than
to
it
which
does
he is sent.
a one-and-done sentence.
Welcome to prison life, Supreme Commander. Right, you aren't the Supreme Commander anymore. Now you're just Simon the war criminal. We still get news from the outside world here. It's interesting, don't you think? The lowly beastman rebel, and the hero of the human liberation. Imprisoned as equals thanks to those trials of yours.
To be fair,
Human
he did not come
wisdom
up with the
sure
trials.
has its moments.
True.
Only 2 more weeks.
Well, there you go. That's the timer. Mugs available in stores now.
What's this? No.
Oh.
All Gekon regions have been 68% evacuated. Sakunga region, 32%. Behama region, 44%. In the remaining 6 days, 18 hours, total evacuation will be 98% complete.
I guess their map kind of looks like
Gurren is at 58%. It's going well.
the logo.
Status of the moon.
But
Falling slowly. Current calculations show it will make atmospheric entry in 10 days, 6 hours, and 23
Not even
minutes.
full 2
Moon
weeks.
will begin to affect our surface as it gets
Over a
closer.
week.
Let's get everyone into their shelters as soon as possible.
indeed.
Yes, sir.
You wear the mantle of leader rather well, Supreme Commander Rossio.
That isn't what matters, Leron. I'm only doing what must be done for humanity.
See?
nothing more.
My goodness, well, sounds like the boy's grown into quite a man. Say, would you care to join me on a date?
Yeah.
There's something I'd like to tell you in person. That's right, I'll be waiting. I hope he doesn't get burnt out.
What do you mean, see? You can't take the person saying it themselves to mean anything.
Yeah, we have some Supreme Commander to thank for that. Won't turn
Just
down
the confidence you have in a true leader.
Supreme Commander. I hear the people outside have been evacuated underground.
Yep.
Now who the hell are you?
I will avenge General Cito
Look at that cock.
right here.
General Cito Mandra, one of the Spiral King's generals?
Yeah, that's right.
The one you said you'd
If
never
I
remember
hadn't
the name
gone
of.
and killed Cito Mandra, then I'd still be flying in the sky. But no, instead, look here. Look at what they've done to me. They locked me up in here, and then they cut off my wings. And now I'm pathetic. I'm nothing but a disgrace. And it's all because of you, Simon. Die!
Like I said, it's like a Batman situation.
the shriller the squawking. How about you shut your beak?
Oh, that viral theme song.
You're siding with Simon, but you're a beast man.
Because I'm a beastman, the sight of a weak, pathetic beastman makes me sick! How the mighty naked ape has fallen. What? You've lost Gurren Lagann, the woman
And
you
Viral
loved,
is the
and
only
all of your
one
friends. And now
the
she's
Spiral
gone
King
back to
explained
just
shit
another
to.
common naked ape. You
Yep.
can't even manage to protect yourself, can you?
What did you say?
Even when he was barehanded, Kamina held his own against me.
Shut up!
Oh my, is that anger in your eyes? Don't like what I'm saying, do something about it.
Come on, let's go.
Viral's just the best. I don't know how to else phrase it.
What's the matter, Viral? Kill the guy! Simon is my prey, Viral! Back off!
Pretty artistic.
Sure.
It's my immortal body, given to me by the Spiral King with the order to forever bear witness. Yet the only thing I have to bear witness to is a pathetic specimen like you sitting in jail. This is too
Basically
much.
Deadpool now.
Yep.
I'm only doing what I need to do.
That's a good one!
Also, being made immortal,
Nothing is
and
what you need to do.
the moon's about to crash
You're
into
finally
the
the
earth.
same as the Spiral
Well,
King.
this is
Yep.
bad timing.
Take that back! Tell me, is this the future you wanted to get by destroying us? It's unforgivable!
I never asked for forgiveness. Those two bastards.
Yo, you need to just you need to stop fighting Chicken Man.
You dumb bastards! Undead me!
No fighting allowed in here. Come on, boys, break it up. Break it up. Who's the one who started this fight? Those two.
Those two, sir.
Those two ganged up on that poor bird man.
What?
I mean, to be fair, he could take on Simon alone. The Birdman,
Yeah.
I mean.
Very easily.
How far does God intend to test us?
Oh, snap. They dropped the title of the episode.
Believe it. If you don't want to, don't. It's just a simulation after all.
Holding the position I hold, I have to believe it. Was it wrong for humanity to dream of living on the surface?
Apparently, yes.
Humans so sinful a species that we don't deserve even that?
Well, it seems the anti-spirals think we don't, and that's all it is. God's will has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
So, something we're not being shown.
Hey! Things going smoothly here?
Our overall progress is still 48% behind.
48%.
That really takes me back. Look, it's a couple of warble runners. Boy, you were so terrified of riding those things at first, remember? Wait a minute, it's some slime grape hippos and pig moles. I don't get it. It's the humans we need to be getting on board, not them. What's this all about?
Food.
Is Rossio opening a zoo or something?
Now you're close, but you're still wrong.
I'm hooking up the Lord Genome head now.
Well, it's either that or a Noah's Ark situation.
Are you sure there's no danger?
Even if there is danger, we have no choice. The Arc Gurren will not activate unless it recognizes his biosignature. It's just like how Lagann
So we
won't
plugged
activate
Lord
unless
Genome
Simon
into
sent
the
for
Ark.
it.
Even so, what if this biocomputer contains Lord Genome's personality?
You're quite the worrywart. If that's the case, all you have to do is strap on a bomb and sit down next to it. That is
Oh,
if you have
burn.
courage like Kino.
Haha.
Well, if this doesn't work, it's more all-nighters for us.
I haven't had a good night's sleep in 7 years. Okay, everything's hooked up and ready to go.
Arc Gurren, spiral engine activation sequence. Begin the checklist.
You got it! Activating! Not yet, you moron!
Yeah. It said
Oh,
checklist,
no.
not activate.
The super spiral engine activation sequence is completed.
Oh, look at that. I guess it worked.
Nothing is impossible for me.
My, you sure talk big, considering that you're just a head. Anyway, I guess
Man's always getting ahead.
Congratulations, Leroy. I will notify Supreme Commander Rossiu at once. Legal Affairs Chief Kittan.
Just what do you think you're doing?
You're one of Rossiu's top ass kissers. You're gonna tell me what he's thinking.
Because that's what Rossiu's cabinet's made of.
No idea
Yes.
what you mean.
Don't you try playing dumb. I saw them loading animals aboard the Ark Gurren. A whole lot of animals at that. Why?
I don't know.
You won't talk, so let me take a guess. Something bad's gonna happen on the surface, and so our soft-hearted Rossiu decided to save even the poor, helpless animals. Is that it? So I'm right. Now then, start explaining.
It's
because we will have to live out in space aboard the Ark Gurren for at least 1 year, Kittan.
Rossiu.
You are a key government official. If this is how you feel, shoulder the burden yourself. Come with me.
Yeah, shut the fuck up and let us do our job.
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Simulation of what'll happen when the moon hits the Earth. I've never calculated anything like this, so it took a long
Remember, these
time
people
to
just
generate
got to
it.
the surface 7 years ago.
This means that
Knowing anything about
the
space
surface
would
is
be
gonna
crazy.
wiped out.
Not just the surface.
Yep.
Underground, too. The entire surface will be stripped off by the shock of the moon's impact. After that, the whole world will be blanketed by white-hot gases. Everything on land will be incinerated. It won't be able to support life of any kind for a year.
So what are you saying? Are you just gonna let the
Maybe
people
longer.
underground die?
Do you have any other ideas? The Ark Gurren can't carry 1 million people.
Then why don't
No, I
we
mean,
use
the
this
greater
thing to destroy
implication
the
is that
moon?
everybody we're
It's
sending
not
to
gonna be
underground
huge,
shelters
but
are
I
also
bet
going
there's
to
nothing
die.
we
Oh,
can't do.
100%.
Considered that as well. It's too risky, Kittan. If we fail, humanity truly will go extinct. Tell me, are you able to bear that responsibility? We will save every life we can, and not just human life. What the Ark Gurren carries within it will become a second Earth. We will take aboard every living beast of the land and live in space until the Earth cools down. That is the only thing we can do. The leader's role is not to fight. The leader's role is to make the hard decisions. Do you think I'm wrong?
No. No, you're not wrong. But that don't mean I gotta like
So
it.
we're saving even less people now.
Correct.
But I don't know that we've even gotten confirmation that the Ark Gurren can even hold the 300,000 people that would have been left anyways.
Well, I think that was the amount it could hold before we put on the animal and stuff.
Also, actually legged cars.
About time, Uncle Kittan.
You bet. Gotta see her at least once. I mean, while we're still on Earth and all.
It's not like you won't get another chance.
Is she healthy?
I'm amazed at how much she drinks when she nurses. And when she cries, you better cover up your ears.
Let's have a look. Is it me, or does she look kind of worried? Around the eyebrows here.
Well, maybe.
Did you hear that? You take after your daddy in some odd ways. Whatever
Oh,
should we do?
snap.
When are you guys gonna evacuate?
Kyo needs to build up her strength a bit more. I'm a little worried about moving her right away.
You dumbass! Get aboard now! There's doctors aboard the Ark Gurren! Quit wasting time!
Kittan, who knows too much.
Nice.
Yes.
Settle down.
I hear you
Kittan, the
say
classic example of a good time.
Word travels fast. I know it's a bad time to bail on you, but right now I just want to be with Kyo and Anna.
It's because it's a bad time. Who knows? Maybe Kamina picked the right time to die.
I'm sorry. It's just that right now a newborn baby girl is more important to me than a dead man.
I mean, I honestly
It is,
can't
huh?
even imagine what Kamina
Can't
would be
blame you.
doing in this scenario. Or in even this new world.
Looks like there's a ceiling in the sky now, too.
Yeah.
True.
I guess there is. Look.
Hmm?
Nah, forget it. Huh? What the hell?
Report!
It was a beam attack from the Mugan, sir. Parliament Tower has been destroyed. Second wave coming in.
It still seems to be there.
The attacks are concentrated
Mm-hmm.
underneath
At
Parliament
least it was
Tower.
destroyed.
I don't believe it. Have they detected the Arc-Gurren's presence?
It's possible. They're attacking because they detected a strong spiral power source.
Is there nothing we can do? Run a search in the Lord Genome head. What's this?
Genome
Looks
searching.
like an energy shield.
It's a spiral power shield. This is a spiral battleship. Naturally, it's equipped with protection.
That's right.
And the previously newly equipped Grapparol squadrons.
It's nice that you can take them out in one shot, but there's tons of them.
Gurren is safe! Get into the underground tunnels!
Is that everyone, Kittan?
Everyone who's still alive.
Lately moved when they did, since that was the hospital.
Going now. What about
Yeah.
I got spiral shells. They ought to be able to slow it down some. I'm not about to let my
They're
cute little
anti-spiral.
niece die in some alleyway. Go on
This
without me,
this
Diana.
doesn't make sense.
It does, literally, if you were paying attention. The spiral shells are what the Grapparols are using.
Go! It's about to open.
The whole
Okay.
tornado thing.
Got it.
Because what's a tornado but a drill?
Get clear, Kittan.
Mocking?
Sorry, it took a while to find a sitter for the kids.
That gives me a sense of what your family life's like.
Also, that looks incredibly a lot like Viral's old mech.
Very much so.
Some handy toys to the party.
Barrier missiles from a military contract. We helped ourselves to a few.
Big brother's okay!
What the?
Here they are.
Kittan!
I thought these were destroyed.
I just hope for a little bit more payoff of the thing you've been asking for 2 episodes now happens, and all I get from you is, here they are.
Hey, I'm happy to see them.
A ceiling, huh? Yeah, I guess that's a ceiling, all right.
It's a weird thing for him to say it, though, because he was always on the surface for us. We've never seen him having to break through a ceiling.
Good. Bring the evacuees aboard while the shield's up.
Commander, take a look at that.
Can't be. What are those gunmen doing out there?
Attacks from old gunmen are effective against these?
Gunmen were originally designed to battle the anti-spiral forces.
Boom.
It's only natural that their weapons would be effective.
We have to forget about those gunmen. Activating Arc-Gurren has top priority. Attention all units! The Arc-Gurren will leave the stratosphere in exactly 30 minutes. Bring aboard as many evacuees as possible in that time.
30 minutes.
In order to exit the stratosphere, 30 minutes is the maximum duration we can divert energy to the shield.
What about people who can't get here in time?
Guess they're gonna die.
We leave in 30
Yep.
minutes. We must. My decision has been made.
I see. That's your hard decision. Save as many lives as you can. There's nothing that can shake your resolve, is there?
What are you getting at?
That's a leaderly thing for the new leader to do. Pretty impressive for a boy your age. But if that's how it is, how about returning the you-know-what? Me and the fellas just don't fit in with all this government stuff, Ross. We're just Team
Which should have been
Gurren.
evident from moment
Thing
1.
is, Team Gurren
Yeah.
has its own way of doing things.
You still don't understand? It's a futile effort, Kittan.
That's what's so great about it.
Yep.
Now, hand it over, pal. What you got there is Team Gurren's. That is his soul, Ross.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, snap.
Once upon a time, I entrusted the future to this too.
Well, I'm wagering tomorrow on this baby.
Brother,
Survive.
Sorry.
Leave it to me.
All hands, prepare for liftoff. We don't have much time.
Move it! You're in the way!
And this is where we get the separation of forces.
I don't know why my brain just went of church and state. Oh, and they're dead from the exhaust.
What are you talking about? They'll be fine. They just can't breathe.
I love it when the guards abandon the prison to leave the prisoners to starve to death, or I guess technically they won't have enough time to starve to death. They'll be killed by the...
I was gonna say, starving to death doesn't seem likely because of the amount of time they've left.
pyroclastic cloud that's about to come.
I'm fine with it. As long as the others
True.
will survive, everything's fine.
That pyroclastic flow.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Nia, what are you...
Rossio has turned his back on humanity. When the moon hits, they will be swallowed, shelters and all, by the Earth's crust, and they will die.
What the hell is all this?
That can't be true.
It's true.
Is-
Even if they do escape into space, the only thing awaiting them is despair.
What? Why?
What the anti-spirals seek is humanity's complete and utter despair. They have taken every necessary step to achieve that end.
Nia, you do that? Why would you go that far?
Not Mia.
Why, you little...
Or
Well,
Nia.
she's the
It's
mouthpiece.
not Nia.
It's Nia. She's the mouthpiece for the anti-spiral.
So I don't see you for a while. And you have to go and turn into a real boring bitch.
Yeah, she's been out of the picture since, like, the first new episode.
It's true.
So you're like, where did she go? Because I guess you wouldn't know if it was like a meta thing that we couldn't play the voice actress. The voice actress had a life-threatening thing and just quit. Or... No. Here she is. With her gun.
Yep. Guns are back. Because the person who uses the gun is back.
Which really comes off as a I don't have anything to say statement. So I'm just going to say something.
Hell yeah. No, it's a fun wrap up. It's also nice to get a moment of like, oh shit, look who's back. Because she's been very impactful on the story thus far, and seeing her not there and everyone losing their head makes sense.
I mean, she's the Mary Magdalene of the story.
True.
Which is to say, I'm leaning more on the girlfriend of Jesus metaphor than the whore
Yes.
metaphor.
100%. Profession aside, I understand what you're saying.
I was also implying that they were going to be killed by the blowback of the engines, not that they was sucking or getting gas on them.
I know.
Also, a pyroclastic cloud is essentially the heat cloud, like from a volcano or everything.
What that
Yep.
man loved was a future beneath the blue sky. And when that sky begins to fall, she rises up. And their entwined fates merge and become one. Next time on Gurren Lagann, you are someone who ought to survive.
It's a good message.
But yeah, no, you know, the sort of thing that vaporized everybody in Pompeii.
Yes. No, I agree.
I didn't know if you knew what it was. You said something
did.
about pyroclastic flow, and I thought maybe you were doing a rap album on me or something.
That was a reference to a rap song.
Which I'm unfamiliar with because I'm, on the whole, not a fan of rap music. But I don't know, that could change sometime in the future. I grew up not a fan of country music, and I've listened to a lot of country since then, so...
I like that the stakes are just building and building and building. We're not getting a chance to slow down, which I think is important.
I will say I am much more of a fan of the back half of Gurren Lagann more so than the front half. The front half sets us up with characters. The front half is
Yeah.
the character building. The back half is the payoff.
So what I'm liking about the back half is that we've seen the main characters be like, I'm going to do something that you can't predict so many times, where now we're getting we can't predict what they're going to do.
I feel like it's more of a you can't predict what the show is going to do, let alone what the characters are going to do.
Mm-hmm. But like the enemy is pulling stuff on them that they were pulling on the Spiral King.
I
It's not
don't
the
know that
exact same,
that's
but
true.
it's a similar vibe of helplessness.
I don't feel that's true either. The Spiral King never felt helpless. The Spiral King was sending things out to attack them. The Spiral King was proactive in his defense.
Oh, I know.
Versus these guys can't be proactive because these things just appear out of nowhere.
That's why I'm saying it's a similar vibe, but not the same.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't get the same vibe at all. Because these things aren't attacking in the same way. We know the purpose of one thing versus another. I just wouldn't put it on the same level, same feel, same anything. These guys are, other than the fact that Nia keeps saying absolute despair over and over again, which also not the same vibe.
No, like that's just the energy that I pick up on.
Right. I'm just explaining my side. I cannot see, even if I'm not trying to be pedantic,
Of course.
I don't see it as the same at all, because on one side you have a force that's fighting for its own freedom against an oppressor who is actively sending out things to try and stop those bad guys, versus, if you were trying to say reverse it around, the Mugen, who are just appearing out of nowhere, attacking and being destroyed. We don't have any sentiment from their side of anything.
So here's the
We're
thing.
not proactively attacking the Mugen to stop them from attacking us.
If you look at how the show started, and you took it from the perspective of the Beastmen, the humans rose up out of nowhere and started taking them out.
Was that it?
That's it.
I thought that was... Because you started like, let me give you a metaphor, and then you started the first half of the metaphor, and I was like, okay, so what's... Is that... No other half?
That's entirely it.
Okay, because it wasn't a metaphor then. I was just expecting something that wasn't being... I could say possibly, if you were making the example for the anti-spirals and not the Mugen. Because it's the Mugen that we're fighting right now.
The example is for the anti-spirals. It's not for specifically the Mugen.
But in that case, we're not doing a reverse of the first season. We're just doing the first season again. The anti-spirals are trying to keep us down, in this case not underground, but on the planet. And they're sending things out at us as we try to reach out to them the same way that we did with Lord Genome.
I'm trying to think of how to... We're not seeing it the same way.
Well, obviously. I can tell you that 5 minutes ago when we started this, when I said, I don't see it that way.
What?
That was my intro statement to the episode. That was me doing the title drop for the episode of this debate, which was, I would have done the impact sound of the text hitting the screen. I don't see it that way. Episode 1.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's it for
Beautiful.
this. Unless you want to dive into that really in-depth thing that you wanted to say after the intro started, that you had a lot of feelings about.
Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it back up.
I'll say this is mostly a joke from my end because I don't even remember what it was.
It went. Whoop.
I would say you had really strong feelings, and I said, let's hold it to the end because this seems like something we'll talk over the whole episode for.
Yeah.
Well knowing I won't remember what it was.
Yeah, no, I'm fully. This bothers me that
Well, I'll
trying to
give
look
you
in my head.
another 30 seconds here to remember it while I say something, which
How did
is
it start?
which is my thought here is this is the reason why I should probably like take notes while I'm reacting. Is that the things that will happen early in the episode which are important, I'll completely forget when I go to the end and start talking about. But the problem therein is if I'm taking notes, I'm actively not watching the screen, and then
Yeah.
I'll be missing stuff. So it is a catch-22 of failure.
Oh, I remember. No, the idea that there's no such thing as an original story that can be written anymore. If you break every story down, there is it's either 4 or 5 different types of stories that follow the same beats for like an excessively long time.
Well, if you're talking about types of stories, like
Correct.
versions of a narrative, that's not the same thing as. Okay, in my opinion, that's not the same thing as different narratives. The narrative or the setting or the character archetype, like people in I don't know, people like 30 BC wouldn't be telling stories about spacemen in the stars, right? The concept of the story changes completely based on your imagination of what's possible.
So I actually am going to posit a fact that they were. What if?
Okay, I'm talking about like Star Wars, not like gods crossing the skies and whatnot.
That's what I mean. If you look at Star Wars, you can pull it back.
I know Star Wars is.
So
don't take my examples and get pedantic with them, please. I don't want to be here for 2-3 more hours.
Of course.
I know Star Wars is like Flash Gordon, and Flash Gordon is this thing. I'm saying that 30 BC people like take it to the far extreme, right?
Of course. And the eloquency of the stories get better and better until they
I'm
don't.
just saying that the mythical stories of like legendary heroes taking their sailboats across the stars is not the equivalent of Star Wars. They are separate stories. You don't say that they're the same story because they both have space. They both have a person in a ship going through stars. They're not the same story. And I'm saying you can take those pedantic guy in ship travels stars and make 1,000 different completely new stories out of it. And I understand that is the basis of the thought process that there's no new original stories. But my point was, I think you started this with there's no such thing as, and I said everything is just new combinations of existing stories.
Correct.
So, at the base, I think we already agreed from the start. So I actually don't know where the debate comes from.
No. So we don't agree, but it's not going to be. I know where the disagreement's at. I think what I feel
like the argument is that everything is the hero's journey. For example,
the way
the
it's broken
monomyth,
down,
and I'm saying not really.
The way, if you break it down to its base level, there's no such thing as a new story. It's a thought process, and it is something that if writers understand it, it means that you can then combine things how you want without trying to break the wheel and feeling like you're not doing enough.
And my argument is that there can entirely be new stories. I know the idea is that there's nothing new within the span of time that humanity has existed that people have not already thought up of. But at the same time, imagination is infinite. Even if you can't imagine something that nobody else has imagined before, it doesn't mean that it's not possible that you could. And at the same time, disjoint the shit out of it. Most people imagine shit in the regular way. But at the same time, you could also shuffle a deck of cards and have the deck entirely be in a combination that's never existed in any deck of cards ever, because that's how fucking math works. The combinations are so not infinite, but they're so finite as to approach such a thing. The same thing with thoughts. If there are so many more thoughts that are capable than a fucking deck of cards, then all of those thoughts could be arranged in any possible combination of things. Are you familiar with the Tower of Babel? Not the Tower of Babel,
Yes.
the Library of Babel.
Library of Babel? Possibly.
The Library of Babel is it was a thought experiment, but I think they also made a story out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of an infinite library that hold an infinite number of books, with every book being a set number of pages with the specific number of characters that it's the English alphabet.
Yeah.
Random. At complete random, so every book in existence exists in the Tower of Babel. Every book that never existed is in the Tower of Babel. Any combination of words put together. So, there's an infinite number of books about how you die. Obviously, only one of them is going to be true, but there's going to be an infinite number of them that are also almost completely accurate, except that they say you die a second earlier, a second before, etc.
Yeah.
They have your entire biography in it. Plus, they have the biography where you're actually Abraham Lincoln. Right? They have everything. Every possibility. Every movie that's ever existed, except you're the main actor. Every movie that's ever existed, except you're not the main actor, and some other random person. It's a fucking infinite library.
Mm-hmm.
Except that they made it real on the internet. So I guess in that aspect, every story's already been written, in that a computer algorithm has already infinitely combined every possible combination of letters together. Never mind, I'm going back on it because my infatuation with the Library of Babel has already made it so that up to a certain point in the history of humanity, which is to say when that guy coded the online version of the Library of Babel, that is when all stories were told. Because you can actually go to the Library of Babel website, and it doesn't obviously, because there would be an infinite amount of code, or an infinite amount of storage. What it does is it has it set up so that you can randomly peruse the books in the Library of Babel, in which case it memorizes everything by, it's a very in-depth thing. Needless to say, it exists it forms the book when you get to the specific section, but that book is always the same no matter how many times you go back to it. So, in that way, yeah. In the same way that we've also written every song possible, because there's only so many notes the human ear can understand, and an AI has already done it. So, once we hit that specific point in human history, I will argue, yes, you're right. But before then, anything was possible.
And again, it's not even a argument point that ever matters.
Well, actually, it matters now, because now we went from the point of human creation to human discovery. Now you don't actually have to write that book. You could go into the Library of Babel, for example, and discover that book. We've gone from the age of human creation to the age of discovering what could have been already created but wasn't, and now a computer did. Conceivably, there's a book in the Library of Babel with the words in just the right order to tell you how to program the ultimate AI. Because it's just a combination of characters put together. The problem therein is that there's also an infinite number of books that get it wrong. Human discovery period. If you were to say turn into was it the time machine, the race of humans that are subservient to the Morlocks, who are all about love and peace and whatnot, but don't care about knowledge anymore. Specifically, like he goes to a library, picks up a book, and it turns into fucking dust.
I know what you're talking about.
We could just turn into that, just entirely forget about learning and just start discovering, mining the books of the Library of Babel. I'm gonna write a book about this, and it'll be wholly uncreative. And in fact, we'll find out later on that I actually found it in the Library of Babel. The book about finding stuff in the Library of Babel, I actually found in the Library of Babel, and oh man, what would the rights be on that? Would I have to pay it to the guy who made the website, who made the Library of Babel real? The book that I then found in the Library of Babel?
I don't even know.
What would the rights holdings issue be on that? Did he copyright every book that ever existed because technically he's made it?
That one's a no.
Could
Either
you?
way.
I think technically he would also have to find it because the way it's made, he would also have to find that book in his own thing, and it's fucking impossible. Because again, okay, my last statement about the Library of Babel. In the story of the Library of Babel, that you have librarians that are just fucking insane, because a lot of these librarians are on pilgrimages to find the specific books that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And also the fact that it's an infinite library, right? So it's basically just like a giant tube, an infinite giant tube with every it's all laid out in a hexagon shape going up. That inconceivably, wherever the fuck the bottom is, must be filled with dead bodies, because how many librarians just toss themselves over the edge? But there's also librarians that go crazy, just fucking rip books out the walls and hurl them off and things like that. But it's an infinite library, so the amount of damage you could do to it is insignificant. It's like that old thing of, would you rather be in hell for however long with an infinite number of people, but every day somebody gets pulled out of hell to stay in heaven for eternity? Or would you rather be in heaven and every day somebody gets taken out of heaven, again, infinite number of people, and put into hell for eternity? And the idea is it's an infinite number, it doesn't matter. You're never going to be plucked out because the math is infinite. You technically have a 0% chance of being pulled out, even though somebody's getting pulled out. Same thing with an infinite library. You can destroy as many books as you want, it doesn't matter. You still have, there's a 0% chance the book you're looking for is the one that gets destroyed.
Well, yeah, because it's not finite. It's infinite.
Yeah. I don't know. The Library of Babel is just the thing that always mind fucks me every time I get back into thinking about it.
Oh, it's so true.
Everything is there. Everything you could possibly ever want to know. It's also just muddled in with an infinite number of lies.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
I feel like I should have like ketchup packets around me constantly. That's not a tangent. It's just I always think that I should like say something that blows my mind and just like do one of these where I've got a ketchup packet between my fingers. It's like wipe blood away. Like, what's going on? You okay? All right.
That's funny. That's good.
Yep. So once again, I have been Theta. This has been Justin. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we're here to blow your mind.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?